Well, we got a little bit of wind, not a lot, like you can see. But just enough with that wind to get that speed and kind of close to the track that we want. So for all you Catalina 30 boat owners that have a boat, I don't know how long they use the infamous trailer plug to connect the engine panel to the engine, but my boat had that. I said had because I replaced it the other day with a isolation terminal block. I'll throw a picture in the video, but I was having troubles starting. I would hit the button, the light would come on like it's trying to crank. I wouldn't get anything. I'd hit it again, it would start. And over the winter, I ended up replacing the starter button and the key and the alarm. So got, you know, those things new. And this year still had the problem. So I thought, you know, maybe the solenoid on the starter was going bad, so it was pretty inexpensive to replace that. So I ordered a starter from Catalina Direct. I put that in, cleaned up all the connections, and still had the problem. So I got out a multimeter and I set it on ohms resistance, and I came up here and turned the key and I'd hit the button, and most of the times it would have a good clean connection, but I reached my hand behind the panel and started like moving the wires around, and every time I would do that and hit the button, I could see it go to open. So I go, that's my problem, high resistance. So I looked around, I found one those terminal blocks in my area. So I replaced the one up here behind the panel, which was not easy but not hard either, right? I just basically labeled every wire as they came off and reconnected them. And then down on the engine, I took that one apart, which was being held together by a zip tie by the previous owner behind a bunch of electrical tape, and used contact cleaner, some sandpaper, and some terminal cleaning brushes, and cleaned it up as best I could and put it back together. I am going to get another terminal block and replace that one. But as soon as I did all this stuff, cleaned up all those connections and replaced this one, I noticed that I'm getting better connectivity because all the lights on the panel are much brighter. The voltmeter, because this boat has the voltmeter, not the amp meter. The voltmeter is reading more voltage. You know, it always read 14 something when it was charging, but like when I would hit the glow plugs or when you go to start it, it would drop way down to like 10 volts. So it had quite a bit of a voltage drop. This boat, we already have the upgraded alternator and then the bypass, so the charging circuit does not come all the way up to the panel and back. It just goes directly from the back of the alternator to the positive on the starter, which then goes to the batteries. And then, you know, to add complication to the whole battery starting charging system, this boat has I think it's called an ACR, and we have two batteries for the house bank, which the Catalina came with, And then we have a third battery, a group 27, that's underneath the quarter berth. That is kind of like the starting battery. And the ACR connects all 3 batteries together. So when charging, like off the alternator, it kind of floats all of them, so it's keeping them all charged. But if you start, say all 3 of them are online and we're doing something like this where we're using the autopilot and the voltage drops too much on those house banks, it will disconnect them from the circuit. So basically they'll be on their own and that starting battery won't be brought down anymore. So then when it comes time to start it, you know, you're not going to be left without any way to start the boat. So yeah, it's a little bit more complication to the whole system, but yeah, so that's, I just wanted to give you guys that little piece of information. Alright, so this is Cedar Point. Ahead of us is Marblehead, and over there is Kelly's Island. And in between, this is the South Channel.
Okay.
And what happens is the lake is flowing through between the islands, that gets pinched down, and it creates a current. And then you get a wind wave from a different direction, and then you get these confused waves in here that are just choppy. And it, you know, makes it for not so fun of a ride. Today's not too bad, but some days it really gets all mixed up in here. I guess, you know, on the ocean you would get like tidal currents. This is kind of similar to a tidal current. We're going to take you for a big walk when we get to the marina, huh?
Yes, we do. We're gonna have to play.
Yep. There we go.
Get energy out.
Okay, so we're coming into the channel, and there's the end of the break wall. Ahead of us is the buoy on the right side of the channel there. Some days this could be a lot of traffic coming in and out of here today. Not so bad so far.
Bigger point.